What's up?
What's going on, y'all?
The rain is coming down.
Yeah, man. It's been all freaking day, too, man. Like, literally all
Can't
day.
stop. Won't stop.
Yeah, man.
Will not let it stop. I'm Jared.
I'm Josh. It's good to be here. Thank you, brother.
That's what's up. And we're all about the wars.
Yeah, oh,
This
yes.
weekend.
This is the Star Wars Spectacular Edition.
I was, wasn't sure if the man had seen it. I was like, man, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, man.
So, that's the way to do it.
Very happy to say, but we both got to see it. It's good because, like, I was going to say, man, if you want to piggyback on the review for 8, I'm pretty sure it's number 64 and 65 because we didn't see it at the same time. So this one we'll get to do succinctly and together. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
That's, the way to do it. And I just, man, it was one of those kind of situations where I've done the late night showing before. I don't do the midnight showings, but I was leaving work and I was like, I probably could have made it to the theater to check it out. And I was like, luckily it ended up where I was like, I could go see it the next morning. So I was like, man, just wait till the morning. And it worked out a lot better doing that. Not the type of movie that you want to go see, fight and sleep, because I want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I just went Friday morning and checked it out. My initial review of the Rise of Skywalker was like, man, if Force Awakens and Last Jedi was worth it to get to this movie. I thought it was awesome and worth the drive, worth the ride, brother.
Yeah, man. I don't know where to start. I very much. I can't say very much. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. My only issues with it aren't even issues with it, to be totally fair. Now, as far as the new prequel or the new trilogy is concerned, I loved Force Awakens. I thought Force Awakens, if I was like ranking my Star Wars movies, would probably be my second favorite one of all of them. I loved that movie. I thought it was great. Jedi would still be my number 1. That'd be my number 2. And that's not quality. That's just opinion. Last Jedi, I loved loved is too strong of a word. I really like The Last Jedi because I like the idea of going in new directions, and basically it's something that a lot of people are talking about, and I agree, and we talked about it 2 years ago on episode number 65.
Yeah.
I am totally cool with the idea of breaking up the aristocracy. I don't need Rey to have magical blood. None of that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's not an issue with Part 9. It's just the problem that I have is that as much as I liked Part 8, there was nothing in Part 8 that was as good as any of the myriad of storylines they threw out in 9. So if you were just going to undo everything in 8 anyway, I'd have been a lot happier if what we got for Part 9 instead was Parts 8 and 9. And then you can flesh some more things out because there's a lot of real good stuff in there. We could have all avoided the embarrassing chapter where Poe Dameron just becomes completely irrelevant and very, very stupid. That would have been good for all of us because Poe's cool and Oscar Isaac's the man. And he bounces right back. I mean, it's no problem. Yeah. But there's a lot of good stuff in it. I don't think there's anything in it that I wouldn't have liked more of. Yeah. It was cool. Yeah. Man, that's my only thing with 8 is that the one cool thing you did in 8, you got rid of immediately. And if you were going to do that, it would have been better for all of us if 8 was just better to begin with.
Yeah.
I would have I told the man, I would have liked to have seen more fleshed out between Poe and... Is Kerry Russell?
Yeah.
See, I got it stuck in my head that was Vera Farmiga because of the eye. I mean, the eyes weren't real, but the eyes and the voice, that's who I was mistaking that to be. But that would have been fun to get more of that. I thought that Palpatine bringing himself back to life, you could have got more mileage out of that over movies 2 and 3.
Let that be the part 2 of this current trilogy, then give us...
Totally. Yeah, and then we can pay it off in the third one, because it was like...
As much stuff that loose ends that got tied up in this one, there was still, enough that, people were going to complain about, well, what about this?
There's tons of... There's nothing from the second one that got tied up. It was just like, hey, guys, we don't like that story. We're not doing it anymore. And if we're going to do that, I just wish we could have done that to begin with.
Yeah.
But the other thing, like I was telling the man, I can't imagine anybody on Earth. So we have a forced walk for Princess Leia, and then all of a sudden Rey is calling her master, and that's enough? I don't think that's enough for anybody. If you would have fleshed out Luke and Leia training and her getting her Jedi certification and all that stuff, I can't imagine anybody not thinking that was awesome. I think everybody would have rather seen that. And as far as Carrie Fisher no longer being with us, wouldn't be a problem, would it? Because it's a green screen and you throw the face on it, just like we said they would. Yeah, that would have been awesome. Again, it's more of the stuff that there's so many good stories and so much interesting, cool stuff. It would have been neat to get more time with that. So now, I guess my point with 8 is I liked 8, but it's absolutely irrelevant now. So we'd be better off if it just didn't exist to begin with, and we could have taken that 2.5 hours and fleshed stuff out. Because again, as much as I liked 8, every single story they came up with for the new one was better. Let's settle the Rose debate, talking about, well, if you get rid of Chapter 8, Rose isn't there. Dude, tell me that you wouldn't have rather seen the ex-Stormtroopers and Finn flesh that story out. That would have been cool, man. You could have had them running off and doing adventures and all that kind of stuff. There was a lot of good. It's very cool. And I guess I was telling the man very selfishly, considering what we got is, it's the Emperor's granddaughter. I did think the reveal of that was very cool. I loved how they put that in the actual story. Now, the swerve on Chewbacca was kind of stupid, but other than that, that was a neat scene. Gosh, what else? I'm talking a lot, man, so jump in there, and whenever I think of what else I really liked about it, we'll...
I guess I want to see it again, just because my viewing of it was kind of odd, in that I don't know if this has ever happened with any movie ever. I set out to the movie theater because I drug my feet, get out of bed early enough. By the time I got ready to go, the next showing I could see was a 3D showing, which is not so bad. I think I've seen the first 2 3D, so why not see this one that way? But what was odd was I get there and I'm watching the whatever in your town is the show before the show, and it goes right from the little, hey, thanks for coming out watching the first part of the thing, straight to black screen, galaxy, long time ago, far away, boom, Star Wars. That was the first trailer, which not necessarily a bad thing. Only problem was my 3D glasses didn't work. I don't know if this has ever happened. It's never happened to me before, or if it's ever happened to any of you, but it's not impossible, but it's a pain in the butt to just sit through a 3D screening with, might as well not have had any glasses on. So it's like, man, this kind of blows. But the movie had started, and I'm that much of a psycho where I'm not going to get up and go to the bathroom. I'm not going to get up for anything, even if it is to go get, hey, can I get another pair of glasses? I'm not even going to do that. So some trailers would have really helped me know that these aren't working, and hey, let me go trade these out. But once the whole shebang-a-bang movie had started, I was like, man, I'm stuck.
Well, I'm locked now, man.
So, but I'll get back out to check it out to give it a more fair viewing. But I saw enough of it where I feel like I saw it, and man, I just from the jump, I mean, I thought it was awesome, and right up there with everything that I wanted to see. And the fun thing about going and checking it out was I've been keeping up with The Mandalorian, and they have one more episode to go, and a lot of people freaked out when they looked closer at that release date calendar and saw that, oh no, there's not a Mandalorian episode dropping that Friday, they're dropping it that Wednesday. There's going to be some type of thing you need to know going in from The Mandalorian, and there really wasn't, but it was nice enough. I think people were expecting there to be some type of tie-in through that show for some reason with the Palpatine resurrection, and that wasn't necessarily the case. But it was a cool enough tie-in to where you're like, that's not 100% necessary that you go see it, but if you've been watching the show, you might as well check it out before you go see the movie. And so I did that, went and checked out the movie, and got my fill of the wars.
Yeah, man. I was telling the man, I think that the theater I saw it in got all the previews that they didn't give the man, and that's a bummer. It's where I don't remember all of them. And I don't really remember. I shouldn't say any of them. Black Widow was on there, which I've been looking so forward to that, and now I don't know if I'm looking forward to it or not. Excuse me. Bad Boys 2, which I told the man, that's what I thought Gemini Man was when that preview first came on, so now I'm real confused.
Gemini Man 2 already?
Yeah, man. The second Wonder Woman preview, I think I had seen like a preview for that, but like graphics and like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the 9 people that still hasn't seen Wonder Woman, but the preview for the new one, I was telling the man, this might not have anything to do with it at all, but I love how bright the costume is. It's stupid, but that's the first thing I noticed is that the costume is like saturated over the top. I don't know if they're trying to go 80s style with the visual, or if it's just, like I said, it might have nothing to do with it. But I just remember what George Perez's Wonder Woman looked like in the 80s, and the costume is different, but the like bright color of it—that's what it made me think of. So I'm like, that's cool. All right, awesome. And I feel bad that enough people have whined about Chris. What's Chris's? This Pine, isn't it?
Pratt or Pine. That one's Pine.
I think they. Kurt. Enough people apparently whined about Kurt being brought back from the dead that they actually explain in the preview why he's back, and I'm like, man, they really are tired of hearing y'all bellyache. Yeah. But it's fine. They'll tell you in the preview what's going on. We won't make you wait. Yep. Anyhow,
mess.
Yeah, man, I don't remember what else there was. It seemed like I don't remember it, but anyhow, I'm with you on the. It's very. I guess the wording, the verbiage that I heard about it that I thought was very appropriate is that a lot of it, Star Wars, I mean, plays in fast forward because unfortunately you're playing catch up and it just goes back. And I know it's stupid to be like, well, but ultimately, if I'm fantasy booking this thing, and I guess my point is, well, 8 exists, you can't just undo it. Yeah, but they did, and that's my point, is that if it was going to be that irrelevant anyway, I wish you would have just taken your foot off the gas pedal, waited a year, and told JJ to get back behind the typewriter, because
we've already shown that we will totally scrap an entire movie if we feel like, man, this isn't quite the direction we want to go in.
Totally.
And if that's what you felt like you had on your hands, go ahead and do
do
it again.
Yeah, considering that's what you did after the fact, you might as well do it in real time and give people something that they can enjoy, because, man, it was definitely enjoyable. And there were a few, man, there were specifics I wanted to, I know one thing, like we were talking about the reveal when they show you like Rey's power and what it is that's going on. Part of this ties in with The Force Awakens, where I like that character. I've always liked that character. I think it's cool. And thank sweet God Almighty Jesus Christ, we can all relax now about, why Rey's so powerful, she isn't even trained properly, she's such a powerful Jedi. Well, everyone seems okay with it now. Yeah. Immediately. You give her
a lot more sense.
You give her grandpappy magical force lineage, and everyone's okay with it. Well, okay then. All right, fine. And that ties in with your Mandalorian point. People have whined incessantly about, well, you can't just change what the Force is, and you can't just change the rules. It doesn't work that way. Unless it's Baby Yoda, because everyone's okay with that part too. And see, I thought, because I missed that, I don't follow the Mandalorian, so I didn't know that that's what they were going to tell you, was that, no, you can bring stuff back to life. Of course, Yoda can do it. Why? It's fine. It's fine when Kylo and Rey do it to each other, because Yoda did it, so well, not Yoda, but you know what I mean. Yeah. So it's okay.
The child.
And all that's fine, man, because them changing the rules of the Force hadn't bothered me. I like the idea of expanding. It's a God metaphor anyway, man. Yeah. Tends to evolve.
Yeah.
But on that subject,
so the movie can happen, if nothing else.
I was telling the man, on that subject, man, I thought that the handoff, the lightsaber handoff in Part 9, I loved that. I thought that was really cool, man. Yeah. Like, yes, this is neat. So that totally did it for me. It was quite cool.
As long as the stuff you're adding is good, cool stuff, then have at it. Try some stuff.
Yeah, man, it's
We'll
cool.
let you know what we don't like.
It's totally.
Lord knows.
Yeah, you'll hear about that. But yeah, I haven't checked out any reviews for this one. I was telling the man that it's like this was like the brushback, and this is what people didn't like. And I just hadn't checked yet. But in general, like the people that I saw it with, there was 3 of us. It was my buddies Danielle and Aaron and Clay, and all of us went, and all of us liked it in varying degrees. I would definitely be 4th out of the 4, but I thought it was great. I was just explaining that it was a bummer that. God, I would have loved longer versions of that. Yeah, but it was good, though, because everybody liked it. And we're literally 1 and 3. I liked part 8, and they absolutely all hated it. So it's cool for the bounce back. It's cool to wind up on your feet and enjoying it. So that part worked out very well. Everybody.
I think the stuff in Last Jedi that I really liked, and the stuff that, just... that I just wasn't down with was kind of I didn't feel like didn't bother me with digging this movie. I think I honestly had to be reminded of the stuff in Last Jedi that I didn't like, and I had completely forgotten about Luke's saber being just totally destroyed, and so that's back. And so like, how'd this happen? But
I'm assuming,
yeah.
I'm assuming it's right around the time they got those Jedi texts that Yoda blasted with lightning and burned the tree down. Because boy howdy, right there in the beginning when they start talking about Emperor Planet, Rey knows exactly A, what you're talking about, and B, where to reference it. Like, okay,
it's all right.
Yeah, again, it's just more of the same. Where it's like eradicating number 8 out of existence. Cool. If it gives you jollies, that's great. But at the same time, I just really wish that it didn't exist in the first freaking place, because you just messed up a lot of people. A lot of folks got real upset about that.
So, there was a lot of good that came out of this one. Is what I'm trying to get at. Is not trying to think of the stuff to really point out that I liked and not just totally crap on it. But there was. Some of the stuff in this, that I guess the people are in reviews that are having problems with, is like there's a lot of having a really big feely moment that just totally gets redone almost instantly. That it's kind of like, C-3PO can't interpret anything because in true C-3PO fashion, he's still a royal prick. And just is going to do the total opposite of anything that you want him or need him to do. Who would have thought that in this movie, speaking of the merchandise type characters, one of my favorites to come along is going to be Bubba Frick. That I can't wait for that to come out. Y'all can take all the Baby Yoda stuff and have it. I want that stuff.
Can dig it, man.
But I was mad how long it took me to realize, I forget the character's name, but it was Kerry Russell's voice the whole time. But she has because JJ hires Dominic Monaghan, hires the other guy from Lost, working with his friends. And way back in the day, he directed some episodes of Felicity. He may have directed the first season, most of them. And it took me a minute because I was like, I know that voice. Even showed the eyes, and I was still kind of like, who is that? And it ends up being Kerry Russell. And that character, to me, her and Poe's relationship, I was like, okay, you could go somewhere with this.
Absolutely.
And I did not get the vibes that a lot of people get with Lando putting the moves on the girl at the end. I didn't get that vibe. I got the vibe that he could have met his daughter, and maybe that will be a Disney Plus show. I don't if that's what they're planning on doing as a spinoff for another movie. I'm like, maybe I am done with this one, and just give me the TV shows, and I'll just be good.
That's the vibe I got, was a commercial for Disney Plus. And why not? That'd be a lot of fun. That would be cool. I don't think that's a problem at all. I hope that's what they're going to do. I can't imagine they would make a movie out of it simply because Billy D ain't got strong. I love him, but they're not going to build a movie around him, and no one knows who the heck she is yet. So do a TV show about them. But I'm totally with you. I missed the Colt 45 commercial that apparently was supposed to be implied. I missed that.
Yeah,
but the idea of them, let's go on an adventure and put it on TV. That's I'm with you. That's where I landed with that.
Yeah, and so I didn't pick up on that in the slightest. Totally off topic. I did not pick up on the controversy of the Peloton ad that everybody was up in arms about for the past 2 weeks. That was totally lost on me. The chick doing this video for her husband. I missed that completely. Anyway, so basically what I'm trying to say is I don't pick up on stuff very easy. You have to kind of beat me over the head with it before I get the point. I'm like, that's what was happening? Anyway, there's a lot of really good kind of scenes, at least for me, in this one, and it and a lot of stuff as far as what a lot of people wanted tied. I didn't need to see. Do you really need to see Finn tell Ray I love you?
I was telling the man, it's so much better with that being unspoken, particularly when we get the final word. This is me literally praying that this is the end of the Solo Skywalker Palpatine stuff. I don't believe it. I don't think anyone believes it, but maybe. Yeah. But man, the last word on Solos and Skywalkers telling each other that they love them and then replying they know. Fantastic. That was so good. That was very good and very cool. And again, if we're just going to do nostalgia bombs with old characters, fleshing out Princess Leia, Jedi, badass would have been real fun. And I think everybody would have been happy with it. Yeah. But it was neat to see Harrison again because I didn't think about it. And then when he starts talking, I'm like, wow, really? And then they start the scene and it's like, yeah, really, this is great, man. This is cool. So I'm with you. But yeah, the whole man, y'all know, it's like Jerry and Elaine when the plane is crashing in the next to last. No, it is the last Seinfeld. I'm with you. I didn't think that was necessary. I didn't think him spelling it out was necessary.
All right, we get it. Move on. And considering the fact that Jedis are not allowed to love, even though they break that rule every other week.
It's the reason that this idiot Skywalker family is still going on.
God.
Seriously.
It seems like the rule of Jedis aren't allowed to love gets broken. And if the rule is there can only be one Sith apprentice and master at a time, how the hell do you get a whole cathedral of these guys? I'm like, y'all been breaking that rule too, haven't you?
Yeah, seriously, man.
This is the movie was like all the rules
that was the thing about we were discussing and this was something else that did not occur to me. The initial reaction to Palpatine having a grandkid is like, ooh, the Emperor had sex with somebody, and I missed that because I just wasn't thinking about it. Because biology escapes me. I don't know how it works. Man. The part I had an issue with was we had to move heaven and earth to make sure that Darth Vader didn't find out he had kids because he would corrupt them. But the Emperor has a son that he knows about. And it's just like, you enjoy your time at your liberal arts college, son. It's just like, he doesn't care. I'll be over here ruling the galaxy. You do you.
Go off with your sentimental hogwash. I'll track you down and kill you later.
For real. That's all I don't know. It just seemed weird to me that.
So, I was hung up on, the Emperor hunted down and basically had his son killed. But he is a bad guy.
It was weird, man. It's like, okay, so I got my kid and I got the wife and I killed them and they had a kid, but I didn't find out where I don't know, it just seemed weird, man. But at the same time, that's another one of those things where if we get part 8 as part 8 and 9, hey, maybe you can come up with something cool. Maybe you can figure out a way to make that story work, man. Yeah. And also, I would like to have more any more time with weird floaty Emperor arm I'd have been okay with, because that was cool, man.
Emperor hooked up to his
man. Peloton.
Chair. Yeah. The only other possible thing that I think Finn could have told Rey is, I know who you are. All the Stormtrooper kids are told this legend of the Emperor's offspring, but how could that many people know a secret and it not eventually, get out and so that wouldn't make sense either. I didn't need to hear him say that. I didn't need to know how little crazy-eyed alien got Luke Saber. Some stuff is like, I don't need everything laid out and spelled out to you. Just let the movie happen. But the I guess the biggest moment is when we finally undo the death that we thought happened. But when it comes from off screen from the little crazy-eyed alien person who apparently got all of Luke's old shit. But when the second that you heard it, this line come from off screen, Chewie, I believe this belongs to you, and he gets his medal. That was my moment, and I was like, so that moment just kind of any problem I had with the movie, I was like, oh, okay, this is fine. I dug it.
It's in addition, or in further proof that my brother likes Star Wars. He's not a huge Star Wars guy, but he likes it. Mm-hmm. But a long time ago, we were having a discussion about the prequels and all this kind of stuff, and Lottie died, and he just point blank told me, he was like, man, the only thing that matters in any of these movies is Chewbacca, because he's the most popular character in the story. Yeah. And he's right. It's absolutely true, because everybody that I saw the movie with are like, oh, crap, that kind of hurt moment. Mm-hmm. Wasn't when Carrie died, because Carrie really died. Yeah. It's when Chewbacca finds out.
Oh yeah.
That was the scene that just killed all of us, man. So it's like, man. So I like that the two Chewie scenes, because I'm with you. I love that. I can't believe I forgot her freaking name. But yes, I love that. I thought she was gonna call him over and like mac on him, because the first one talked about how hot he was.
My Wookiee boy.
Yeah, talking about how hot he was. So I'm like, yeah, go on, you guys will be.
How was that Wookiee?
Yeah, for real. I like that Wookiee. But that was cool. He finally got his medal, and that was great, because God, he's waited a long time for that.
That was my biggest moment. But my first one is, if you blink, you go to your coat, you miss it. Buzz, let's fly Lando, when it's Wedge is there, and he's part of the on your left moment when all the heroes show up.
Yeah,
that part being in the movie, I was just like,
I don't think a single person in the theater I was in got that. I don't think anyone knew who that was. Oh my, man. Nobody. Because
I wasn't expecting to hear that.
Dude, it's like, that's the guy, y'all.
Yeah.
That is Wedge, MF, and Tilly's, man. Yeah. That's the guy. The guy that... Wedge is the reason I was so disappointed that Rogue One was what it was, because I wanted Rogue One to be an X-Wing pilot story, and it bummed me out. Not really. Rogue One is, if you've seen the reviews, except for one thing, I love Rogue One. I hate the Darth Vader scene. Other than that, I think it's fantastic. I love that one. That one's really, really good. And the Darth Vader scene is okay. Fan service is fan service. Mm-hmm. It doesn't ruin anything. It's just that I don't necessarily like it either. And that's everything. Like I was talking with someone about Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier has the worst piece of fan service, I think, of any of the Marvel movies, and it's where Cap pretty much kills everybody and beats up an airplane by himself. Now, I love me some Captain America, but it's just like, come on, man.
Yeah, I thought, man, Wedge showing up was just, I mean, I did not see that coming.
Me neither. I had no idea.
And when it happened, I was like, wasn't ready for that.
Yeah,
wasn't ready for that, y'all.
Wedge is my boy. I love that guy. So I'm with you. That was absolutely fantastic. I love that.
Yeah, man. And just, I mean, and that, maybe one of those things that years from now people kind of like people are already calling it the on your left and left scene, but just the fact that Poe was even going to try to go down and catch Finn in an X-wing, like it can't be done. It has to be done with Lando and the Falcon. You need to give him something to do. So, hey, man, that was one of those kind of like, I was getting charged and pumped with all that stuff going on, and I was digging that hardcore.
I can dig it, man.
Mm-hmm. And it all builds up to the big, how we. after all this, we've got to most Estafar, Elysium, whatever the planet they're on. After all this, how are we going to beat the Emperor? And you know, and he just has this, you know, somebody should have told him, just look out for that two-saber thing coming at you. It's not good.
Yeah, man, it was.
Oh, I remember my part of that scene that I dug so much. As much as, like everybody, I poke holes in the prequels, and rightfully so. Man, when stuff was banging in those movies, it was really banging. One of the things that I love of the prequels, every time I go back, Phantom Menace ends up being the one that I would say I like the most, just because when I think of that movie, it reminds me of the excitement of that summer.
Yeah, man.
It takes me back to thinking, like, maybe this will be good. Things don't always go the way you plan. But one of the coolest things of the Phantom Menace was that soundtrack and that Duel of the Fates chant, and when the Sith guys are maybe there's no way that was just done by accident. That was a tip of the cap to that film and that really cool piece of music. But when they're doing their little Sith Lord chant at the end, I was like, oh man, that's something else to look back at Phantom Menace. Think, oh man, that was pretty good. That cool little piece of the soundtrack. So that was my other thing that I had a kind of moment from that part of the movie. Like, all right, I'm down.
I was concerned as far as episode 1 references. When they got to Diwali, I was afraid that it was going to be a pod race. I really was like, what's going on here? And it's like, okay. But thank goodness we didn't do that.
It was just Burning Man.
It's like, okay, guys. Yeah. It's a check for Miranda. That's literally, whenever I saw the credits, I'm like, oh, that's why that scene was in there. Okay. J.J. Abrams got Alexander Hamilton's phone number and said, hey, want a big check? And he said yes. So I'm all right, cool. I don't remember where I was going to go with that. That's it, I guess. But I'm with you. It's cool. It's nice that it's over, and it's cool the way it ended. They did a lot of good stuff, man.
Heck yeah. I don't think there's anything else.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
To really kind of feel like I've kind of got all my ish in.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It seems like should be something else, but I don't remember what it was. Anyway, it's nice, and I'm glad that in this trilogy, there's only like one of the characters who may or may not ever work again. She doesn't deserve it. I can't remember her name, man. The girl that played Rose is a fine actress. There's nothing wrong with it. The internet just needed a frickin' punching bag, and they went and found it, and so, okay. But, I mean, basically everybody from the prequels. Liam Neeson had to start being like middle-aged dad Rambo. Ewan McGregor had to take whatever he could get. Natalie Portman basically got on Hollywood producers' pole for 5 years and got her career back. Jake Lloyd left Earth. It's just sad. Like, everybody got taken apart because it was just so bad, and they didn't do that this time, man. Everybody, I think, is going to survive and be fine, and in some cases just kick up. Adam Driver will win an Oscar inside of 3 years. It'll take him a while because they've got to let the Star Wars stink get off of him, but the kid is a comet, man. I mean, everybody loves that guy. So
just the marriage plan alone from this year is showing a lot of people that, man, this, Hayden, he's not. And speaking of Hayden, that reminds me of the other Phantom Menace tie-in with this movie that I didn't need. But leading up to the movie, and I think this was totally generated by Hayden and his camp, when there was some type of leak of some type of cameo or something that he would have, and turns out he was not in the movie whatsoever, but as Rey is coming back too, and then you hear all the voices of the past Jedi calling out to her, and it's all all the heavy Hall of Famers are represented, and you get to him, it's like, not you. No one wants to hear from you.
Yeah, seriously.
But even down to Liam himself. I mean, he's in that little montage. It's like, man, if that's all it was, and Hayden Christensen was even insinuating that he'd have some type of cameo. Like, get over it, brother.
Yeah, I was concerned about that because I just the less reference to the prequels, the better for me. I genuinely despise those movies. So good on him for getting his voiceover checked. That's cool, but nah, we good. I was a little bummed that Mace wasn't in there, but at the same time, it does make sense. If you extend to include Mace, where do you stop? See, it totally makes sense. I'm just being selfish because I like that guy.
I have to go back and listen to it. I didn't realize he wasn't.
I'm pretty sure it was Ben and Darth Vader, and he said Qui-Gon was in there.
There was Yoda in there. There was Luke in there.
All the ones that are in like Camp Skywalker that like trained somebody or hung out with somebody, had anything to do with anybody.
Okay.
Those guys are all in there, but I think that I don't believe he might have been. Shoot, I don't know. I don't think he was.
It's a missed opportunity.
Yeah,
not to be.
Yeah, for Ray to be in her like meditative trance, and for Mace Windu to say, "English, mother, do you speak it?" That'd be awesome. Just throw that in there, man.
Do you understand the words that come out of my mouth?
Yes, they deserve to die. That'd be awesome, man.
I am all the Jedi. I am Iron Man.
Yeah, I was glad to see that reference because I'm sitting there in the theater like, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it. Because I'm trying to get a lot better about not making even under my breath comments during the movies because sometimes I do that and it's like
too much fun.
Well,
I try to save that for the second viewing or the third or something.
Totally.
Like that.
Or if I'm
my
at
Mystery
home.
Science Theater.
Yeah, if I'm at home.
commentary.
If we're at home, that's different. But yeah, like
That's
in the
fair
theater,
game.
it's like everybody's here. It's just
Yeah.
I try to be better about that because I'm bad. I'm very, very bad to like mention something and then want to talk about it. So I'm like, dude, like I'm the worst person to ever watch television with because I'll pause the shit and then we'll get in the conversation for an hour and then we'll get back to it. So this like 90-minute television show will take 4.5 hours to watch because I'm bad about that. So in the theater, it's like, no, man, let it go, don't say nothing, But yeah, it was very, very Avengers-esque. I was waiting for an assemble.
Yeah.
Which is still, I believe it or not, we were discussing Endgame, and I was talking about how, literally the one time I went to see that, that's the only time I've seen that. I loved it. I thought it was great, but I just haven't watched it again, man. And it's like,
I haven't felt the need to.
Me neither. It's like I don't think I ever will. I think I'm okay.
In Infinity War, there's some rewatch value in that. But when it comes to Endgame, like I saw it.
Well,
I've got a copy of it. I may get around to checking it out one day. I haven't yet.
We talked about it at the time, man. It was my favorite thing about the decision to break it in half, which they were going to do because everybody does that now. But the way that one was split in two, to where you have a definitive end after Infinity War, and then you can have your revisionist ending if you watch Endgame. But you can watch Infinity War, hit stop, and call it a day. It's just like we talk about it all the time with like reading comics, man. I don't know anybody that has ever read every issue of every comic ever. You just pick the ones that you want. That's cool. It ends wherever you want it to. Like in my version of the Avengers, the comic book Avengers, Janet Van Dyne is dead because in Mighty Avengers, when she sacrificed herself to win, that was a great ending. That was an awesome place to stop. So I did. Captain America's still gone. I have the Ed Brubaker return stuff. You know what? I don't think I do. No, I can't. Here's what I've got. I had the trade paperbacks of The Winter Soldier. And then I think I've got the trades of everything that he did, but at one time I had the omnibus, and the omnibus had the return in it as well, but I never got around to reading it because I bought it and then sat on it for like, 3 or 4 months, and the thing like tripled, and I was like, you can have it, man.
That's what those on the buy are good for, is buy them and sell them in a year.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did with all the ones I ever had, man. The only one I miss is Straczynski's Thor, but I'm pretty sure you can get those trades for nothing. So it's like that's cool.
Yep.
We've talked about it, man. The omnibus stuff is frustrating to both of us because, man, they are unwieldy, man. I love the absolute stuff, and it's not like they're easy to read, but I like them. it's
a little bit longer makes it a little bit easier to kind of maneuver.
yeah, man. They're not so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man. Anyway, got sidetracked. Got back on Marvel stuff. Sorry about that. But I'm sad about the Black Widow preview. Bummed me out. I'm hoping that the next one I see will bring me back into the fold. But I was talking to my buddy Danielle, and she nailed it. She absolutely nailed it. She's like, it's really kind of sad to me that Marvel does not apparently think that she is enough for the movie. No, we need her to have like 3 sisters and have to go and be a family story. I'm like, I agree totally.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see Black Widow doing Black Widow-ish, man. I don't need to see the Crimson Dynamo or her, Stepford Cuckoo twin sisters or whatever, man. I don't need that mess.
Yeah, I've yet to see what's going on there. I've seen the stills of who's playing some of the characters, and I'm like, I really think that they had every intention of that being one of the TV series, because like we need to really flesh this out, but no, people are not going to be satisfied with that. They must have a female lead movie, and like, we're not ready for that, but here you go. Have at it. Bye-bye.
Sorry, y'all.
Who knows, man? I'm so far behind on the trailering.
Yeah, man.
I just, go check out Skywalker.
Yeah,
Well, getting there.
definitely go see. Like, if you liked Part 8, go watch the new one. If you didn't like Part 8, go watch the new one. Definitely go watch the new one. If basically seeing Last Jedi just put you where the only thing you want in this world is for someone to say, hey man, that was a bad dream, that wasn't real, that alone, that alone they'll take care of you. That's the first 45 minutes of the movie. So, but it winds up in a pretty cool spot, man. They did good work and it was enjoyable. But I'm with you. I like the new trilogy. I thought they were cool, particularly the bookends. They're quite good.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one, again, you had one cool idea and you got rid of it, so now it's as irrelevant as, I shouldn't say irrelevant. It's pretty much as bad as you've heard now. Because it's like none of this means anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's okay. Golly, I'm with you. It seems like there's something else that I just meant to talk about in that movie. I don't remember it at all, but we can wrap up. We can do NXT real quick if you want to, man.
Yeah, man, that was the what a week. It's had Star Wars Friday, and then the NXT show Wednesday night was just. It was late Wednesday that I sent a text to Josh. It was like, man, it was going on midnight by the time I actually got it watched, but I was like, Jesus Christ, that was good.
Yeah, man.
And the opening match was fine enough. And
It's unbelievable.
Doug, anytime Adam Cole's on TV, I'm going to watch.
Adam Cole is, with no question at all, we've been talking about it for a long time now, stand by it, Adam Cole is the best professional wrestler on this planet, with the possible exception of Okada. It's Okada, it's Adam Cole, and then whoever's third is about 10,000 light years behind him.
Yep.
That's that. That guy is perfect. He is perfect. I love him.
To have a show where that was your opening match,
Yeah, man.
and then your closing match is a Shayna Baszler, Rhea Ripley title match that I was certain was going to go one way. Then they get to the middle of the match, like, oh man, it's just not going to happen that way. And sure enough, it went the way I thought it was going to. It's like, man, it was definitely worth a DVRing or whatever you have to do to check it out. I'm not sure how long it takes episodes of NXT to get on the network these days. I haven't looked into it because I watch it on DVR. But definitely a dang good show.
Yeah, it's quite unbelievable. I was telling the man, and I remembered what it was now. There was something else on the show that just blew me away. I can't remember what it was. So here's what you do. Adam Cole, Finn Balor, definitely watch that. Watch whatever you want to, but the suggestions are definitely the bookends, and also Cameron Grimes and Kushida.
Oh yeah.
As I'm telling you, man, that finisher that Cameron Grimes hits, I told the man, because of course I've got to turn it into a shot at Randy Orton because I think Orton's a joke. But I don't want to hear about Randy Orton's picture-perfect dropkick ever again. Watch what Cameron Grimes does at the end of that match. It is unreal, dude. It's unreal. It was awesome. But ultimately, Cole and Balor was fantastic. The way that Cole and Balor ends is exactly how it should. I was telling the man I was fussing about it because I'm selfish, but to be totally fair, it's exactly what it should be. But also, when I saw it, I was like, there's going to be a clean finish in that main event. And that's what made me happy. It was like, oh, it's a sign. Because I'm with you. It's like, and now Meltzer's reporting, well, Shayna Baszler's going to be called to the main roster any day now. And it's like, no. Oh,
Been
my
saying
God.
that for a year.
Oh, my God. No.
One day you're going to be right.
She dropped the title, and they're calling her up. They've never done that before. Wow, unprecedented. I can't believe it.
You are a Nostradamus, Mr. Meltzer.
But that was the whole thing, is like, we knew it had to be about time, and I'm glad that they've decided that Rhea's the way to go. I think that's totally awesome, and man, it was good. It was good.
Do you think she'll be in the Women's Royal Rumble? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably. You would think so, considering the Women's Royal Rumble has a big-ass roster, and you got to pull NXT talent from it.
Yeah, she'll probably win the damn thing, and Pete Carroll get a second ring, and I'll look like a genius because that's pretty obviously what's going to happen.
I am hoping. What I would love to see happen in the Women's Royal Rumble is for it to, and this is basically, it's what I said about Shayna Baszler. You can slot Rhea in there, no problem whatsoever. I think it would be awesome to put yourself in a position to where Rhea Ripley winds up defending the NXT title against Asuka, who never lost it.
Never lost.
And then Rhea beats her.
Oh, yeah.
That would be unbelievably cool, man, because Shayna didn't need it. Shayna was so over by that time. It would have been cool just for these two unbeatable, like, I'm the two-time champ. And it's like, because I never got beat. I never had to win it again.
Yeah.
That would have been cool, but you didn't have to do it. And also, I mean, Rhea's Rhea, and she's really good, and that's cool, but as far as, like, polishing that crown just a little bit more, have her be the one to break Asuka's, because the NXT win streak is still intact. That would be awesome. I would love that. I think that'd be real cool. I think that match would be great. Just so I'm selfish because Rhea Ripley, Asuka, of like dream wrestling matches right now, of ones that could actually happen, that one's pretty high on the list. My number one remains the Revival versus the Briscoes. That's my number one, but there's no way to do that right now. I was telling the man, I want the Briscoes to sign with the NWA so bad, but I think until Ring of Honor is out of business, I just don't think they'll leave. I wish they would, but I don't think they will.
I'm wondering if that's going to be the next merger, and I don't know if Sinclair will allow that to happen, but I think they're so far down the priority list that they'll probably just like, let's take them, fine. And then that will be how that happens. So that
who you got them merging with?
The Ring of Honor and NWA. I mean, not necessarily a merger, but definitely doing more business together the way they had been.
I got you, man. One of the things to note, in my opinion, it could be nothing, but I think something of note for Ring of Honor is that their replays are on FS1 now, or
really?
Fox Sports, yeah. So
Okay.
I am thinking that Vince is making inroads to buy that library because it's huge, and you might as well. And Vince really should.
It's valuable.
Oh, dude, the fact that AJ Styles has a match compilation and you don't have Ring of Honor stuff on it means you can keep it, but it also means that if you get it, you can knock it out. I don't think that'd be a bad idea. And also, there is value in buying Ring of Honor's tape library so AEW can't. AEW might not want to today, but when they wise up and realize, wow, networks are valuable and we don't have one because we've been in existence for 4 months, that might be something that they would do. So if it just becomes a little pissing contest between, I think if Vince makes his move now, it's the whole thing. I said this as soon as I found out Sinclair bought him. I'm like, well, as soon as Vince wants him, now he can have him. Sinclair's a corporation. Vince knows how to deal with corporations. Yep. Kerry Silkin was never going to sell it no matter what, nothing. That's an individual. He gets to make that choice. Sinclair has shareholders. They're like, wow, an extra $9 million for Christmas? Yeah, sell that piddly-ass wrestling company. That'll be their thing. But the Briscoes in NXT would be I mean, as far as work goes, they can work anywhere. The only reason I don't have any interest in them going to WWE is because they just don't use tag teams. They don't. So NXT would be great. AEW, it's possible. Again, I mean, I do think that all of us believe that's where the Revival are going to wind up, and that would be I would love that. It literally remains the only thing on AEW worth watching. The tag division is a lot of fun, but man, even that, I was telling the man last week, man, you start with Kenny and the Hangman against the Lucha Brothers. The match started at twice. I just couldn't get into it, man. I just wasn't feeling it. I didn't watch any of the rest of the show because there's only so many times that Cody can make his dramatic entrance and come to the ring and talk, and Jericho can make his dramatic entrance and come to the ring and talk, and Moxley can be walking around backstage talking like a tough guy, and Brandy Rhodes can do, to borrow Brian Last's description, acting school, big budget acting school videos, because he's right. That's exactly what they look like, and it's frustrating. And
Has all this AEW stuff just been her building a reel together?
It sure feels like it, and it's frustrating because we've talked about that forever, man. The deal is, like, there was another video today, and it was like 20 superstars who should quit WWE in 2020, and their picture in the little thumbnail is Sasha Banks, and it's like, yeah, if you get Sasha and you get Tessa and you tell everybody else to take a freaking step back, you got something. If you're not going to do that, though, then F you. It's not going to work, man, because there's nobody in the division anyone's ever heard of, and there's nobody in the division I've seen that I'm interested in. You know, it's like, I guess this is more corny and last especially, man. I've been with Brian on Britt Baker since day one. I ain't trying to diss Dr. Britt. That's all fine and good, but you're going to build a division around a second-year worker. That is very, very stupid. That's dumb. I know that Vince did it with Alexa Bliss, but Vince has a lot of money, and blonde hair gets you a long way, apparently. So it's like, okay, but did you ever watch any of her matches? Because boy, howdy, did they suck, and they still do. But also, as I've said and pointed out for a long, long time, how'd you get her over? You fed Bayley to her, then you fed Becky to her, which sounds insane now to think that Becky Lynch would get fed to anybody, but it happened. Then you fed Sasha to her. So you take 3 of the 4 best women workers in the entire company, and it's like, yeah, you're going to lose to the cheerleader. And they do. And it got her over.
The people that they've fed Britt Baker, they've gone through that several times over.
It just doesn't. It just doesn't. It doesn't work, man. Because the workers that she's working with, in some cases, are quite good, but no one knows who they are, and that's the difference between the Horsewomen and who the AEW stable. I didn't mean that, but there we go. The Horsewomen stable sounded great. The deal with feeding somebody the NXT Horsewomen is they're very good at it, but everyone knows who they are too, so it totally worked. Anyhow, gotten sidetracked. But the singles division, like nothing. I love the tag division in AEW, and I'm hoping the Revival are on their way, because that really would be fantastic. But other than that, man, there's nothing on that show that interests me at all, primarily for all the stuff that we've talked about forever. These are the things these are the boxes that you need to tick. And if you're not going to, NXT works because it's the only thing on television that does not look like it's Vince McMahon or inspired by Vince McMahon. And the huge thing is, man, you got these guys who, they just wanted to be the guy. They just, they're doing all that stupid stuff, and it very well could be the ego of just like, well, we're going to do what you do, and we're going to make all the money. It could be that, totally. But it's just, if you told me that it's TNT executives saying, like, got to be more like New York, I'd believe that too, because that seems a lot more reasonable to me. Same old song and dance, though, man. I thought they really messed up by not going John Oliver. I thought they really messed up by touring. I'll stand by those things. I think you're a lot better off if you're a destination.
At least don't tour every week.
Just don't look at exactly what WWE does and going like, yep, like that. Why? Then why'd you talk so much crap about it? I talk crap about it because I think doing things the other way is the way to go. Like the NWA. Get yourself a studio, get yourself a YouTube time slot. I've told the man, I said, there's a big part of me that would love for Cody and the Jacksons and Kenny Omega to literally just be cashing the checks, man. Because whenever TNT Cornette's talking constant, well, TNT will be done with this in 3 months. They'll be done. They'll get rid of them. It'll be done. A la-di-da. Well, that $5 million check still cleared the bank, didn't it? $5 million will rent you a lot of television studios, and then you can literally copy what Billy Corgan hath wrought, because, boy, that NWA show is fun.
Mm-hmm.
So do it. Do that, man. Pick you a studio, knock it out, stay in Jacksonville if you want to. The taxes are right.
Yeah.
It'll work. I would love it if they would do that, because this notion that, well, all the boys are running it and la-di-da, and this is, you let everybody do what they want to, and they're not wrong. It's not inaccurate that you need somebody to keep the thing on the rails, but I think there's a happy medium between, well, Vince wants this, so Vince gets this, because that's why everybody has looked the same forever. There's a big difference between that and, oh, we have 5 head bookers, and all of them are running around with their chickens with their heads cut off, and it's all good, and nothing makes sense, and everybody does dives, and I know Corny and Brian complain about the dives all the time, but by God, they're right. We've talked about that before, man. It's just the notion of talk about it, man. You in the back planning out every spot anyway, man. Why don't you have like the group get together and say, we're doing this, we're doing, like, there was the one scene, I think the movie The Wrestler is ridiculously, I can't say overrated because you don't hear anything about it anymore, but I didn't care for it. I thought it was a little bit silly and kind of just wasn't my thing. But there was that one scene in the beginning that I loved, where all the guys are getting ready to go out and do their show, and the guy's like, yeah, then I can do so-and-so and la-di-da, and I'll put you in this right here. And the guy off camera is like, nah, man, we're working the legs. Oh, you're working the leg? All right, then, well, here's what we'll do. He switches up and go work the shoulder. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I love that scene, because that would be very useful for, you know, like, and the example they used was Jungle Boy. And they're right, man. If Jungle Boy is going to lose his match, but the whole point is to make him look cool, and he's got good moves, and he's out there fighting and really trying, let him be the one that gets the dive. Mm-hmm. Man, they're totally right about that stuff. Totally right. And I think, or a lot of that stuff. Some of the stuff that's just venom because I hate Kenny Omega and I hate the Young Bucks, you can tell what that is. So you can take or leave that. I don't take any of that seriously. Mm-hmm. But the genuine critique stuff, you can tell that too. And a lot of that's got some value to it. But the notion of, I don't know, man, just like, well, they got a TNT deal. I'm like, uh-oh. It's the same thing with Sinclair. No, Sinclair's good for Ring of Honor. It's way more money. And it's like, it's a corporation. They'll sell you out. That's like, the scale doesn't do it for me. And production value and TV, and I don't care about that stuff, man. That don't mean nothing. Like we said before, man, if all you're going to do is follow Vince's playbook, enjoy being second forever. There's one thing you ain't going to do is Vince McMahon better than Vince McMahon. Yeah. They do something different, man. Yeah. You know, like NXT. That one's different, and it's great, and I love it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, got way sidetracked talking that same old mess.
That's what we've been preaching from on high.
That's it from on high.
That's what's up.
Take it easy, y'all.
Y'all be cool.